What's up everybody? Welcome back to the shop. Today's video is an update on Blackout. Let's talk about it. Over the past few weeks, we've been on a serious time crunch, so I'd like to give you all a rundown on what's changed since we did the exhaust. First, let's take a look under the ranch. Starting from the top, I've given it this uni air filter, and this 90-degree elbow puts it right up in the hood scoop where it can get some fresh, clean air. Next up, I've got this Evil Energy oil catch can, and it's plumbed in to the intake right in front of the carburetor. Next up, we've got wiring and battery. On this side of the dashboard, we've got some switches, we've got a voltmeter, and a USB charger with a C and a conventional USB port. And that reminds me, it's shout out time, guys. The first one goes out to Brad Gibbs. He sent me that USB charger you just saw in the mail. That was super fresh of him, and he's got a really cool wheel horse build on the way. Thanks again, Brad. The next shout out goes to Mighty Rays. He sent us an envelope packed with stickers, including 2 different types of ATLTF and one of his channel, Mighty Rays Garage. Go check him out on YouTube, and definitely go hit up ATLTF.com. Getting back to the tractor, check this out. We've got a battery and a custom-made tray, and you can see my wiring down in here. Now, when we get this tractor into its final form, after the last teardown, the wiring will be consolidated, zip-tied, and hopefully made into some sort of harness. Out front, we've got fully functional LED headlights. Out back, we've got a running light and a reverse light. Check this out. And at night, if I'm backing up, next is one of my favorite features. I built a clutch lockout. This lets the engine sit there and idle and all that without the transmission spinning, so you don't hear all that gear rotating noise and all that. Y'all know how that can be. But check this out. The clutch lockout is right down here. It's currently engaged. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the clutch. So as you can see, I've got this pawl. When I push the clutch, it locks down, the clutch is locked down, and the belt is pinched. All I gotta do is push the clutch back again, and we're off. Directly above the clutch lockout, we have this integrated shift gate with a freshly installed voltmeter. The shift gate came from a 1983 John Deere 216, which the carcass now resides at the local scrapyard. To keep my feet firmly on the pedals at all times, I've had to integrate these extra supports for my heels to sit on. The stock stirrups were okay and usable, but this is a game changer. Something I had to clean up, I just couldn't leave it alone, was this handbrake. Some of you guys might recall, there used to be some gigantic 90-degree bends right here, some 3/16 steel that we bent over, and then it was bolted to that. Well, I straightened out these legs on the handbrake, and then we just cleaned it up with some spacers and bolted it straight to the side of the dashboard. The next mod may or may not happen in the next couple of weeks, but it's self-explanatory. Under the tractor, you'll notice a couple of changes. As you can see, we put the boots back on the rack and pinion steering. We've wired for the fuel pump. The tank is obviously back in, and there's currently fuel in this tank. I'm proud to report there's 0 leaks. If you'll also notice, there are some steel tabs threaded and welded haphazardly along the frame rails. that is to support a fresh set of aluminum skid plates. These skid plates are solid and should keep out dirt, debris, sticks, rocks, and things like that. Now, let's take this thing down off the jack, get it outside so we can show you how it fires up. I got 2 words. Wow. That was our very first rip on this thing. Literally the very first rip. The last time you guys might have seen us on that Facebook short. Real, just idling around, that's all we did was idle because the engine was breaking in. We just let this thing loose a little bit between myself and Stefan, as you just saw, and wow, the horsepower is there. Now, it does need some work. This is test and tune now, guys. So there's a small problem with the belt system. It seems like the belt goes way too slack and it grabs on the engine pulley. something that goes on. It doesn't always happen, but when you push the clutch in, maybe it's the belt brake. Stefan said that earlier. When you push the clutch in all the way, it pinches the belt at full compression, and it seems like that causes it to stop there, but wrap everywhere else, and it shudders a little bit. It clears up, but it happens, and it also won't roll back. If you push the clutch partial, it releases and it will roll back. We need to address that. The next thing, it needs more speed. This is an 8 to a 6. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. The John Deere has a 7 to a 5. In my opinion, the John Deere is very well rounded and almost perfect. I thought that an 8 to a 6 would give me slightly less speed and way more grip, like if it gets wet in the back because the bigger pulley, right? It does that, but it's a lot less speed, not just slightly less speed. When I'm in fourth and I give it the beans, it just goes from 0 to, oh my God, in like 2 seconds, and that's it. That's all you get because you're topped out. I don't know what the RPMs are. I don't have a tachometer on there yet, but I can only imagine. It sounds like it's up past 5,000, and it gets there in a hurry. As you just saw it. So that being said, we're going to regroup. I was gonna paint this thing next weekend, but I think we need one more weekend of test and tune. I think what we're going to do is change that rear pulley to a 5 and move the belt guide. All that would affect is the lower belt guide. That's easy. So we'll change it to a 5. We'll get our speed out of it because now it'll be an 8 to a 5. So it'll be even faster than the 7 to a 5, right? So change the pulley and the engine. So I think the spark cuts out once in a while. It runs fantastic. It screams. It sounds like a motorsports park, like a drag race, like a monster truck show. But every once in a while, it just gets it gets weird. It starts running on one cylinder, like it loses spark in one. I think it's the plug gap. Either that. I've got a BPR ES number 6 in the NGK in the heat range. I might try a 2. I don't know. All I can do is try. But we're gonna let this thing cool off. We're gonna pull the plugs, check our color, all that good stuff. Anyway, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. Very first rib, unknown territory. But I'll also say before we go, I feel confident on this thing. This thing brings confidence to me, and I'm not just saying this. This brings confidence to me the Deere never could. The Deere is awesome, but I just ran over stuff that I never do in the Deere with pleasure. In third gear and hit the gas up it. I went up the first part of the mountain trail, absolute confidence. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Once again, I'm Jason. This is Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and we'll see you on the next one.